This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Today, family, I want to talk about the King Von situation, right? King Von, who was killed by Opps, right? The opposition, right? I want to talk about what is the true opposition. I want to talk about what's going on 64th Street, right? I want to talk about King Von's song 3 a.m. I want to talk about I Am That I Am, right? So we dealing with O Block, right? We want to talk about why are these young men who have fallen into what you call great success, deferring hope with conflict, right? That leads to their own demise at a time when they should be focused on something else. So obviously I don't have to preach to the choir. We know that there's something going on in the black community, right? Yeah, it's a civil war going on in the black community. It's a competition for resources. And the greatest resources that I see with the young people, with their rise to some type of success out of these desperate situations, is that they are doing this for clout, right? A name, a search for identity, right? Because it appears that the rise up from zero potential into becoming number one is the main objective, to be number one. Who runs the block from 63rd to 64th? I want to talk about what is the structured chaos that's placed within the black community. And I want to give a numerical breakdown of King Von, 64th Street, O Block. I'm going to go in, right? And this is to Zachary Hubbard, right? The big Jewish gematria guy, who likes to say that these things are staged, that they're not really real, right? See, I have a problem with Zach touching on certain subjects that he has no right to even touch on. And so just like T.I., Zach, you might get a kickback about what you're saying. Because if you go to King Von's son, you can't tell them that this fake, this some real shit. We talking about 187. I'm going to break this down for you, Zach, because I'm going to prove to you that King Von of O Block was killed by Opps, the opposition, right? And that this brother is not somewhere hiding in Wakanda land, causing his own child to be depressed because he's looking for his father. So I'm going to get it in. As I said before, Zach, long before you got on YouTube, in the black community, we was dealing with gematria. It was called to us 120 degrees teachings, or it was called Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, and it can be proven in no limit of time. There are 0 to 9 numbers in the math system. There are 26 alphabets in the English language, and we can actually born them out. Or, as you say, take the number that is ascribed to the letter, such as K is the 11th alphabet in the English language. I is the 9th alphabet in the English language. N is the 14th alphabet in the English language. And G is the 7th, right? And if you add those numbers up, you'll get a total. And if you take the two double-digit numbers and reduce them, the 1 and 1 becomes a 2, the 1 and the 4 becomes a 5, then you get another number. Then you can also add those numbers up and get a single digit. We're talking about the information that's hidden right in plain sight. We also understand the ciphers that go in reverse. We call it reverse ordinal, where you take the identified numbers from A to Z in the alphabet and you switch the numbers around where the A becomes 26 and you take it all the way back to the 1 becomes a Z and you get another number. So we're going to deal with this subject and we're going to go into it and we're going to show Zach that there's some things that you don't know, and that when you deal in equality in a circle, Zach, there are other people who can see different aspects of a thing. So what we do when we deal in equality, we deal with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We take in considerations the way other people see things so that we can get that full mental picture, which is the number 3, Zach, understanding. It's a full mental picture. So this is part 1. We want to talk about the government's involvement, right, historically, because we know that there's systematic racism. We ain't just have to find this out with George Floyd. It's some real diabolical things going on that's playing out in Parkway Gardens, right? Again, 64 is beefing with 63, right? But while these beefs are going on between 63 and 64, people are being murdered by numbers. We're talking about murder by the numbers. And I'm going to go into this real deeply. But I need you who are not familiar with what I'm talking about to take yourself back to when you were in kindergarten, early elementary school, right? When they taught you your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s, right? There are, right, from 0 to 9 numbers. There are from 1 to 26 alphabets from A to Z. And when you look at a word, right, like 60, right, it's one word with 5 letters, right? S is the 19, I is the 9, X is the 24th alphabet, T is the 20th, and Y is the 25th. So we're going to have an interesting time. We're also going to learn how to count. We're also going to learn how to do, this is sort of like word puzzles, right? But you're going to be amazed at the accuracy, right? That shows us the information that's hidden right in plain sight as we're dealing with King Von, right? Davon Bennett, right? I listened to this brother, right, for the last 7 months, right? And I saw, right, the conflict brewing, right? And death was chasing this young man, right? If we take the word death, right? It is one word with 5 letters. D is a 4, E is a 5, A is a 1, T is a 20, and H is an 8. That's going to be important when we break down, right, this diabolical process that's taking place in Chicago, right? There are evidence that people are telling us in Chicago, Chirac, that there are government people passing out weapons. There's an abundance of drugs. There's an abundance of money, right? And when you put that in the mix with people who are chasing clout, when they're broke and desperate, then when they get money, if nothing has shifted in their subconscious mind, they will just take the money and continue to chase clout. But the clout is what's driving the murders, right? I thought it was about getting the bag for real, right? These guys are not being killed over structured criminal family business. This is bogged down with clout chasing, regular project lifestyles, when that you have a bunch of people cramped in together. They're broke, they're sexually frustrated, and their dreams and their hopes have been deferred. So here comes a group of brothers, one on 63rd, one on 64th, and they now are taking their money and putting it into rap music. But that's when they ran into the real ops. The real opposition is those who want to take the culture, the negative culture that exists in the projects, and make it mainstream culture for black people. So you got to remember also that after the struggles of the civil rights in the 60s, drugs became abundant and violence in the community did. So history will repeat itself. It definitely will. So we're going to talk about, again, what's going on 64th Street between the opposition of 63rd and 64th. But I want to introduce a different set of ops, a different look at the opposition to the black community. It is structured, systematic racism. And they know that children like King Von, because if you look at him, he's an alpha male, he's a leader, right? And he has this thing about his tribe, his brothers, and looking out for them, right? We know that he's trapped in in music, right? Sickness, trap music, right? But look at how the brother shares some of his money with his brothers, right? And how he rides for his brothers. See, all he needed was a nationalistic mentality. And that's sort of what the real ops at the top of the music industry don't want to happen. So they aid and abet and help foster, right, that diabolical death style that we're caught up in Parkway Gardens. So this is part one, and we're going to go deep into this. We're talking about King Von and 64th Street. Peace.